Quotes like this are all over the internet, and they are all being tagged as one thing: romance. If you have spent any time on Instagram Reels, you have seen videos just like those. You have seen the aesthetic edits, the book boyfriends who are mafia bosses and stalkers, the covers with skulls and roses and half naked men. It's all part of dark romance, one of the single biggest and most explosive trends in publishing. But looking at this, you have to ask, how did we get here? How did stalking, coercion, and outright violence become romantic? In this video, we're not going to shame anyone for what they read, but we're going to talk about how this new version of dark romance is being sold, who it's being sold to, and why it's more complicated and maybe more dangerous than just fiction. So, what is dark romance? At its core, it is the intersection of two genres, romance and horror. Traditional romances gives you that warm butterfly feeling. Dark romance is designed to make your heart race. It trades comfort for tension. The formula is pretty consistent. First, the male protagonist isn't just a bad boy or an anti-hero. He's often an outright villain, a mafia boss, a hitman, a stalker, or a billionaire who does not take no for an answer. Second, there's almost always violence and a complete disregard for morality or the law. And third, the plot often involves taboo themes, power dynamics, obsession, captivity, and kink. Now, fans of this genre will tell you that this is what makes it so addictive. It's the sour but sweet experience. You get all the chemistry and spice of a romance, but it explores the darker, messier side of human nature. The fantasy is often that the hero is a monster to the entire world, but is willing to do anything to protect and cherish you. And that's the appeal. But it's also where the problem starts. This genre used to be a niche corner of the internet. I remember being on Wattpad as a teen, and dark meant werewolves or brooding vampires. But today, books like Haunting Adeline have completely changed the game. This is one of the most popular dark romance book on the planet, and in it, the male lead Zaid doesn't just pursue the heroine. He stalks her. He installs cameras inside the house. He assaults her with a gun when they first meet. In one scene, he murders a man just for talking to her and then sends her the man's severed hand as a declaration of love. This isn't just edgy, and it creates a massive disconnect with reality. I saw this post on Reddit and it highlights this perfectly. A woman who just got into dark romance is reading Haunting Adeline. She tries to talk to her partner of 9 years about it, and his response is, "There's something seriously wrong with you for wanting to read books like that. Anyone who reads it and enjoys it needs some serious mental help." And she was, understandably, really upset by this. But it's a perfect example of what happens when this fantasy collides with the real world. And it's not just one book. Author Rena Kent is another icon of this genre, with a massive teenage following. I tried reading a few of her books. In one, the hero demands sexual favors from the heroine in exchange for saving her life as she's falling off a mountain. In another, he harasses her in school bathroom. And these aren't side notes. This behavior is framed as the central romance. It's the reason they fall in love. Now I know what the first comment is going to be. They're adults. Let them read what they want. And I agree. But here's the thing, a huge portion of this audience is not adults. It's young girls, 13 to 16-year-olds, who are getting these recommendations from the same algorithm as everyone else. And they are branding these stories as romance. This is where it gets genuinely concerning. Psychology has shown over and over that what we consume matters. It forms our subconscious blueprint for what we see as normal. So, if a young person's entire fictional diet consists of stories where stalking is devotion, assault is passion, and Stockholm Syndrome is a love story, what does that teach them about their own relationships? What does it teach them about their own self growth? This desensitization is already happening. We have seen a huge push for more smart or explicit content in young adult books, books meant for kids as young as 12. But it's just fiction, right? This, of course, is the great defense. It's just fiction. We can tell the difference between fantasy and reality. But here's the paradox. Even fans will tell you that the appeal isn't disconnection, it's identification. A dark romance reader named Imogen told Vice News that she finds the books deeply therapeutic. She said, reading a book where a woman is going through really messed up things. And you know that her life will be okay. You know her life will work out. But let's analyze what the fantasy actually is. It's a fantasy of surviving trauma and being rewarded for your suffering with obsessive, undying love. It's a fantasy that tells women that their pain is proof of their devotion, that their value lies in the ability to fix a broken, monstrous man. We are in a post Me Too era that claims to empower women. Yet, one of the most popular genres among women right now is one that romanticizes their own oppression. The problem isn't that adults are exploring dark themes. It's not that kings exist in literature. The problem is that an entire industry is now packaging severe criminal abuse as romance. It's marketing stories of rapists and their victims as happily ever afters, and is selling this idea directly to a generation of young girls who are still learning what love is supposed to look like. Reading is meant to build empathy, to show us new ways of being human. But when our own fiction blurs the line between healing and harm, between love and control, we have to stop and ask ourselves, why are we craving this? And more importantly, what happens when an entire generation can no longer tell the difference between a love story and a horror story?